Okay, we're back with the Field of Battle playthrough. I'm going to do another little video here, hopefully. Um, a game of rolled for initiative, and it was a difference of 4 in favour of the Russians. So they've taken their 4 cards and are going to play first. So the first one up is melee card, which again is anything within half move distance can charge in and melee. So in this period, I only allow infantry to do that on a melee card, don't let them do it on an even roll on the move card, unlike cavalry. But there's no one here at this distance, so we'll dump that card. The next Russian card is a move card. So again, we're back to rolling the brigade commander's roll against a d6 and seeing where that takes us. So we'll start off with the Prussian brigade here in front of us under Kanitz and see what they roll. So he's rolling a dice 10 for his command value against a dice 6. So we'll just do that, a 10 against a 6. If I can find the dice, it is. So here we go. He rolls a 9 against a 1. So as you can see there. So that gives him the maximum 3 movement segments, but because he didn't win it by an even number, he can't do immediate melee as cavalry, nor can he do any maneuvers or change of facing, things like that. So we'll do their move first of all. Let's just move this up a bit. So again, remembering that line move 3 face widths in my system. Do we want to move closer there? Not sure that we do. We will, however, maybe these boys may tickle this side 2 base widths, but they can do it more than once because remember they've 3 move segments. Do the same with these chaps and these to support the artillery. Canist will come and they align 3 times onto the left, taking advantage of the hill. Their grenadiers will also move across and move forward slightly. Okay, again, like to do that to face the Prussians. Would like to align the Russian grenadiers to maybe face off the Prussian threat, but because they're rolled odd on the dice, they can't. So whilst they can move to the flank, they can't actually change facing. But I think what we'll do then there. Okay, so for our next brigade is the brigade deployed forward on the hill. So again, it's a dice 10 against a dice 1, so roll for them. And this time, yeah, it's not so good for the Russians. It's come up as a 1-6, so a 1 is the only time that you don't get to move anything, so that's basically a failed command roll for them. So then we have 2 cavalry units. Those under Armin, which is the Hussars and 2 Cuirassiers, are dice 10 leaders, so we'll simply roll that again. And it's come up as a, 6-2. So that's 4 over, which again on our move card indicates that winning by 3 to 5 you get 2 move segments, but they have rolled even, so they would be allowed to change facing, change formation, things like that if they wish to. So again, they have 6 moves. However, being faced by heavier cavalry, I think they'll just align onto the flank of the infantry. In fact, what I might do is put the Hussars out, bring the leader up, and we'll put them onto the line infantry. Something which I haven't mentioned so far, which in Field of Battle is interpenetration. It's actually pretty straightforward. Anything can interpenetrate anything at any time. Okay, very straight and easy. Again, as a house rule in all periods, we simply don't allow things to charge into contact through other stuff. Other than that, we're playing pretty much as is. From memory in Brent's original versions, you can charge through an even roll and on a melee card, but I don't allow it. It just doesn't look right to charge through a standing unit. But other than that, interpenetrations are all fine. There's no detriment to it. There's no taking hits. There's no testing dice rolls or anything like that. Okay. Again, how Brent explains it in his design notes is basically over the roughly half hour to an hour turns that these things represent. Passage of lines is something that they'll simply do. He did have rules for all these delays and moves throughs and halts and all, and found it just didn't really add anything to the game, which I have to tend to agree with. Also would say that what you got to realise with PK overall, any of the PK systems, including Field of Battle, is whilst it seems you only shoot every now and again and things like that, you got to remember these are what the original PK designer Bob Jones would have called. It's not single shots or single volleys. It's what they call peak effect. So it's a sort of an amalgamation of several volleys you're making the one dice roll for, which is why they uses the differing dice types. Therefore, you can get extreme rolls of like a 12 via 1 or a 10 via 2 or something like that, giving you lots of hits and routes and things like that. But you can equally get a 2 against a 10 if you're the lower one. So we find it varies out unless you're playing my normal opponent, who we call the Dice Demon, who just seems to get low when he needs it and high when he needs it. Some canny. Anyhow, this leader is a Dice 8 leader, as we can see here. Poor old Horvat. Again, my 7 Years War house rules, we just said that the Russians must have at least one poor leader in the game, because they weren't the greatest as regards command control. So in this case, they're rolling a dice 8 against a dice 6, and here we have a 2 against a 4. So even though they've lost that roll, they still get one move segment. But although it's even, because they didn't win it, they won't get any manoeuvring, changes of facing and things like that, or formation changes. So it must be even and a winning roll in order to get those things. So in this case, they've won the one move, which should be enough to simply align them up with their compatriots. Okay, Dragoons to the front. I think we might actually, with our 6, align ourselves to here with our Horse Grenadiers. Allow them some leeway to get a charge in, since they're the best troops and the only ones that are really any equal of the. Not worried so much about supporting units for the cavalry, because it's only for infantry I give them that. Okay, so that was that card. The last card, the next card for the Russians is the famous Lull. So again, that's Commander-in-Chief against Commander-in-Chief, in this case is Dice 12 Prussian against the Dice 10 Russian, to see if the Prussians can get a free card. So it's a Dice 10 Russian and a Dice 12 Prussian. And there we'll have 7 for the Russians and 9 for the Prussians. So the Prussians will get 1 card. So I'll just stop the video and go and do that. Okay, so the Prussians get 1 free card. So whilst they have still got their 4 that they haven't taken yet, as the Russians decide to go first, can I take it from there or replace it? But by convention, I normally take it from the deck. So what they've got is an Army Morale card. Don't need to worry about, when it's a lull, you don't need to worry about the initiative cost. Again, it gives us our offer survival, which we don't have any because nothing has happened against the Prussians. There's been no new risks. And again, what I'll explain at this stage, if you're out of army morale points, in other words your army's starting to lose, the way the game ends is simply you roll your leadership dice against the dice 12. If you beat the roll, the game continues. If you lose, game over. There's, in the original first edition, you used to have things like, depend by how much you lost and which one of them army morales cows come out, like first, second or third. You could have like a brigade retreating and things like that. But Brent has simplified it, and it's simply, you get to that stage and you lose, it's game over. You basically quit the field. Okay, which at times I thought, not so sure about that, but in practice it works, because by the time you get down to no morale, you're probably much beaten anyway, so it becomes kind of obvious and you're sort of got a relief. So not really much to do with that card, so it's back to the Russians for their card. Okay, the last Russian card of this phase then is leadership. So this is a good chance to show us how we do rallies in field of battle, which is sort of built into your morale system. So on you see that, a leader can move. Maneuver I don't think has any effect. I think it's actually a hangover from an earlier version. It's on the cards, but anyway. So you see there it says rally units. So what you do is, each of your leaders and your brigade leaders in this case use their leadership dice, and it's always against the enemy dice 8. Okay, and you rally 1 I hit off per 3, greater than the dice roll. Okay, same way you take hits on 3s. Every 3 hits gives you a UI that recovers it. Okay, again, if you roll a 1, you get no further rally attempts, it just ends that Brigadier's chances for the turn. Again, this bit here about regain command rally from pursuit, if you beat the dice 8 roll, really isn't in Field of Battle 2. That's a legacy from the first edition for which these cards were made, where you could pursue things. Now, as I think I said earlier, what Brent has done is, if you roll odd and a melee with cavalry, you take 1 pursuit hit. Doesn't come off your army morale, but it's like a temporary disruption hit on the winning unit. If they roll even, they don't. Okay, so in this case, what we're going to do is show you how the rally works. So just put this card down, move here. So there we see we had, on the Russians they only have the 1 unit has taken any hits at this stage anyway, and that's the first Vyatsky battalion or regiment here on the hill that was forced back for the gunfire. So you see they have the little yellow out of command or disordered shit. So what they'll do is they have their commander Sibilsky, who's a dice 10. So he rolls against a dice 8. Again, 38 charts, and you'll see that under leadership, sorry, just get rid of that wee bit of grass, whatever it is. When I say grass, I mean imitation grass, not any illicit drug, even if you are Canadian. Okay, so it says you roll your modified leadership dice. The modifications are very basic. It's being over 6 base widths of mine from the enemy has no change. If you're using a tactical advantage card, you're in a town or built up area, you go up 1. If you're within 6 of the enemy, you go down 1. If you're in contact, you go down 2. You can attempt it if you're in contact. It also tells you if you've got 0, no army amps left, or if you're routing with no UI or routing with a UI. Silence refers to guns. Guns don't really go full back, I think they tend to go silence when they're taking hits equal to their UI. Again, something I didn't particularly explain at the start was units in Field of Battle. An infantry unit has 4 UI inherent. So when it gets to 0 UI, that's basically ill route if it hasn't already routed. When it gets to 5 UI, it's gone, destroyed. Guns have 2, but rather than routing, they basically go silent, which means they can't shoot when they have 2 UI. And cavalry of all types have 3 UI. So when they hit their 4th, they're dead, on their 3rd they're routed. Now, if you do rally hits back in Field of Battle, you can rally them off the units if they have one. For instance, that Prussian unit, if it was its turn, it was able to rally 1 hit off. It would restore the hit, but it doesn't come back off your army morale. So the hits you've taken off your army morale aren't restored. So in this case, we can see that the only possible one is if any was in 6 base width. So we'll just measure that for the Russians. And here we see nearest enemy unit is within 6 base width. So essentially they'd be down 1. So instead of a dice 10, it's a dice 8 against dice 8. So a much harder proposition to win. So we'll just roll those dice. And there we have a 5-1 in favour of the Prussians. So they didn't recover. If they'd have won even with an odd roll, they would simply remove the out of command. Here they didn't. And also the 1 that the generals rolled means if he had any other units in his brigade that he wanted to rally, he couldn't, because once you roll a 1, you're beat. However, your commander-in-chief can be used to make 1 rally attempt during a turn. However, if you use him, it puts him at risk. So again, on the dice 20, you can potentially die. If a commander dies in the Field of Battle, you simply replace him with 1 less. So in this case, Fermore's a dice 10 general, he would be replaced with a dice 8 general. So that's how that works. So we're now on to the Prussian 4 cards.